And in news just coming in, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will be visiting India's New Delhi next week with Secretary of Defense Llyod, and this to participate in the 2+2 Ministerial Dialogue.
Blinken is to embark on a visit of 5 nations whose conclusion will be marked by his visit to India. Now, the other nations he will be visiting include Israel, Jordan, where he'll be beginning with, Japan and South Korea thereafter. And then, of course, he will be making his way to New Delhi. We're now being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, Blinken's visit to New Delhi. Talk to us about how significant this visit will be after visiting the West Asian countries, including Israel, beginning tomorrow, of course, where he begins.
Well, this is a visit on expected lines. This is annual 2+2 dialogue, which alternates between India and the U.S. The defense and the foreign ministers meeting, which took place last year in Washington, this time in Delhi. 2 aspects. First, of course, the India angle. We know that the U.S. President Joe Biden is expected to travel to India in January. He's expected to be the chief guest for the Republic Day parade. So that remains the focus. And, of course, there will be focus on how there will be more strengthening of the defense pillar of this relationship. The second, of course, is the Israel-Hamas war. This is expected to dominate the discussions. We know that he's coming from a long tour, which will see him start his visit from Israel, then travel to Asia, Japan, South Korea and Delhi. In fact, he will be on Delhi on 10th. That is Friday of next week. So essentially, the focus will be on that as well.
Right. Siddhant, of course, this brings to question, of course, what is the significance of the U.S. Secretary's visit to New Delhi? This after he's, as Shivan also mentioned, visiting the West Asian countries. What would you say are some of the key issues on the agenda that will dominate discussions?
So defense remains a top priority. Other than that, the focus remains on the diaspora connect as well. Remember, the visa issue has been one key thorny issue. There has been delay in Indians getting visas. So that is something that India has raised significantly. Then, of course, the political aspect of the conversation, as I talked about, the visit of the U.S. President, and, of course, the Quad Summit as well. India holds the Quad Summit in January. That will see the leaders of Australia and Japan as well. So the wider the multi-dimensional relationship will be discussed, but there will be aspects like the West Asian crisis, the Ukraine conflict, and of course we know that how both the American side and the Indian side have been almost on the same page on this issue when it comes to the West Asian crisis, not only condemning the Hamas terror attack, but also essentially reiterating the 2-state solution.
Right. Siddhant, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. We will, of course, continue to monitor this closely.